So you've got the week 10 in-class exercise spreadsheet open, or if you're online, you're in module 5. And we're going to be making some modifications. This one has already been pre-filled in somewhat for you, but you'll note that some of the columns as well as cells have shading in them, which is cueing you that there is information you're going to be needing to put in there. So for example, my mouse is hooking up here. If you look at total sales less returns, that column there has that light purple. The color, or the column G, has that light tan, and then you'll see the cell B15, B16, and B17 are also color-coded. And what we're going to do first is that we want this to be quarterly rather than 2 months. So we actually have 1 month of information that is missing in the spreadsheet. So what we're going to do is we want to add a column. And the way that you will add a column is if you were to click on column E, so that column E is highlighted. So click on column E, click on that letter E you see up in the spreadsheet, and you write, and so if you click on it, it should be highlighted. And then if your mouse will right click, and you should be able to see a little downward facing arrow. You're left clicking on column E, and then when you right click, you'll scroll down to the Insert command, and you'll note that another column was inserted between the month February column and the returns column. So once again, you highlight column E, you right click, and you click Insert, and it will insert an empty column in between February and returns. You are going to then click in cell E4, and you will type March, M-A-R-C-H. So you've added a new column. You'll note then your heading is no longer accurate. So if you click in row A1, which has been merged and centered, now you're going to double click at the end of the word February, and you're going to delete all the way to January. Then you'll hit space, and then you'll type through March. Once you have done so, you'll click File, Save As. So it's File, Save As. You'll save it to your desktop. And you're going to put your last name at the end of that title. So my last name is Fadden, so I've got week 10 in class Fadden. Saving it where? To the desktop. And then I click Save, because this is the file you will be uploading for this week's in-class assignment. Now we're going to click into the cell that will identify as E5, which will be the cell directly underneath the new March column that you created. And you're going to enter the number 14,998. You'll go down to the next cell and you'll enter the number 21,647. You'll enter the down arrow again. You'll type in the number 54,101. Hitting the down arrow again, you'll type in the number 12,222. Down arrow again, 23,657. Down arrow again, 29,888. Down arrow again, 24,001. What number did I say for E10? 29,888. Okay, I see what I did. And then for the last empty cell, you're going to type in 29,999. So you now have the March column completely filled in with sales for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 employees. And you're going to go File, Save, or Command S. So you've saved your work so far. Now we want to build a formula. If we want to build a formula, where would we be clicking on our workbook or our spreadsheet? Right next to the FX. So if I click FX now, it inserts the equal, which lets know that there is a formula going to be created. But I don't want the formula to be created in E13. Instead, I want the formula to be created in G5. So by clicking on cell G5, now when I click on FX, now this is total sales less returns. So I'm going to build a formula by first creating the left parenthesis, because the equals lets Excel know there's a formula coming. The left parenthesis starts the formula. And for total sales, and if it's total sales for Brenda Simpson, which three numbers would I be adding for Brenda Simpson for total sales first?
C, D, E.
C, D, and E, and then what row? 5. However, I want to insert one more column. So by clicking on row G, and then right-click, insert, and at the heading of that column, I'm going to type total sales. And then I'm going to save.
Was it Command S to save?
Command S will save. So now I'm going to click into cell G5 to let Excel know that that's where I'm going to start the formula. And then I will click up into the formula builder, and then I'm going to do the left parenthesis, and I want to add cells C5, D5, and E5. Now, one way I could do it is typing in C5 plus D5 plus E5, and then I close the parenthesis. So I've got equals, left parenthesis, C5 plus D5 plus E5. And you'll note each time I type in a letter and a number, that letter number is a color. And if you look at that color, it matches the cell that it's identifying. So C5 is that kind of bluish color, D5 is that kind of reddish color, and E5 is purple. Now, at the end of that formula, when I hit return, did you all come up with 50,919? Now, I could go through and painstakingly do the same thing, only now if I'm doing it in row 6, it would be C6, D6, E6, or I can work a little bit of Excel digimancy. All right, you gotta hide your valuables, lock your refrigerators, because the Crisco kid is back. And you're not going to believe your eyes when you see what will unfold when we perform the next operation. Because you are now going to take hold of that wicked digit you call the mouse. Are you ready? You're going to mouse over G5 to the lower right-hand corner until that crossroads turns into a black crosshair. And you're going to hold the left mouse button down, and you're going to drag that mouse all the way down to G12. And you will not believe your eyes. Do you believe your eyes?
No.
Do I hear a heal me, Dr. Chupacabra?
Heal me, Dr.
Ah, okay, well, and then if you look, suppose you click on G7 and then you look up in the identifier, you'll see that the formula reads C7, D7, E7. If I go up one cell, you'll see that it reads, come on. Hold on a second here, my mouse just fried on me. If I'm in row 6, it'll say CDE6. If I'm in row 9, it will say C9, D9, E9. So what it did is it copied everything within that formula and changed the row for each one. Are we all there?
Yeah.
You better save before it gets away. Now, we want to do a total sales less returns. In other words, your sales are the total amount and then how much product was bought back. So if we now click into cell H5 and then up into the formula builder, and we're going to start with what? Left parenthesis. Total sales is which cell? If we're in row 5. G5. So we type in G5. And then returns was what? F5. And if we're doing sales less returns, what operation are we doing? Addition, multiplication, dividing? Subtraction. And so if we now type in F5 and we close the parenthesis and hit return, you should come up with $48,573. Are we all there? Better save before it gets away. Now, how do you think we can make Excel do the same thing that we just did in the previous column? Let's see what happens if we turn it into the black crossroads. We go all the way down, and we'll all be darned. I know, I can't believe my eyes either. I can't believe my eyes, you not believe in your eyes. And then you'll say it before it gets away. Now we know, based on cell A3, that everyone gets a 5% commission. So a commission is additional money that you make based on your sales less returns. Not your total sales, because if something comes back, you don't get commission on it. So if you've got a 5% commission, so what we're going to do now is we're going to click on row I5, and we are going to go up to the formula builder again. We start the formula with what?
5%.
We start the formula with what?
Parentheses.
Which parenthesis? Left parenthesis. 5% we're going to represent as a decimal number. Do y'all know what decimals are?
Yes.
So 5% would be represented as what number then?
0.05.
0.05 is 5%. And we want that, if you use a calculator, what's the sign for multiplication?
Star.
The star. So you now enter the star, and you're multiplying it times the total sales less returns, which is which cell? H5. So if you click, or if you type H5 now, and then you close the parenthesis, and you hit return, you have a commission of $24.28.65. However, it's not saying a dollar sign. So do you remember how we would make that look like dollar sign? By going over to number and then dollar sign. Not Dollar General, but dollar sign. Now let's see what happens if we try the same thing. By mousing over till we get the black crossroad and dragging all the way down. And I'll be darned, it worked again.
Smile. Makes me smile.
Make sure you save, and then we'll move on to the next operation. So we know, based on our results here, the commission for each individual. Now, suppose you're the boss and you want to know how much you are paying out total in commission. Right, so you're looking at the total from cells I5 to I12. Are you with me here so far? You want to know how much you're paying total in commission. But now you're going to create that formula in cell B15. So by clicking into cell B15, and then you'll click on the formula builder. And then you will do the left parenthesis, and you're going to do this one slightly differently because you're going to look at commission due, and you're going to remember I5 through I12. So what you're going to type up here now is going to be I5, and to let Excel know that you're going to be doing a total of everything between I5 and I12, you're going to put a colon, not to be confused with the other colon. And then I12, which lets Excel know however, that's not enough because you want Excel to know that it's going to be adding it. So if you click back to the very right of the equal sign and you type in capital S, capital U, and capital M. So now you're telling Excel to add I5 through I12. And then when you click return, it tells you that you're paying out $27,383 or $27,383.95. And then you'll save before it gets away from you. Now remember, we added a month. And so if we are going to have that reflected in our spreadsheet down below, we need to click into cell A18 and type March average sales. Now we want to do the average January sales. What that's doing then is we're looking at the employees Simpson through Sanders. So we're going to click in cell B16 because that's where we want that number to appear. We're going to click the FX, or if we have the formula builder already open, if we click average. Oh, not yet. Sorry about that. Click FX and then average. Come on. Right now it's doing B15. That's not what we want. So if we click inside the parenthesis and instead we type C5 and we want to average everything all the way to C12. So what is the next key that I should be typing? Colon. All the way down to C12. So we're letting Excel know we want the average of cells C5 through C12. And then when we hit return, it lets us know that the average sales of our employees was $22,323. So if we were to perform the same now for February, because we are now in cell B17, and we click on the formula builder, average, and this time we want it to be D5 through D12. And if we do the same thing for March then, with B18 highlighted, click on the formula builder, average E5 through E12. And then save before it gets away from you.
Average first.
Are you starting to get an idea of ways to build formulas? What if we want to know average commission? So we're looking at row I. So we'll start average commission now. And we want to insert a row. So we're going to left click on row 16, and when we click insert, 16 should open up, and you're going to type in average commission paid. And then we highlight cell B16 and click our remarkable formula builder, which slices, dices, and makes mountains of coleslaw. And then we want to be averaging the commission then, which is going to be I5 through I12. So I've paid out an average of $3,400 per employee, approximately. And I now am going to click into cell A21, and I'm going to type in total quarter sales. So we want to know how much in sales I did for all of my employees for January, February, and March. And we're going to use the total sales less returns. Remember, if something came back, we didn't sell it. So we're going to be adding cells H5 through H12. Quarterly sales, FX, equals sum, what did I say, H5 through H12?
Yeah.
H5 colon H12 equals sum Something's not happening here. Give me just a second. H5. Oh, I deleted a number back in. Give me just a second. What number was supposed to be in sales less returns? All right, give me a second here.
79,064.
Okay, there we go. I must have deleted that number. Okay, quarterly sales again. I'll try it. FX equals sum H5 colon H12, close the parenthesis. There we go. I'm going to save. Did you all arrive at $547,679?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's his average? you're going to do this in so you see average, but then equals average.
Did you all save?
Yes.
You now want to represent this graphically. So if you were to highlight for example, if we wanted to do just sales for January, February, and March. So we've highlighted cells A5, grayed in all the way to E12. And then we click on Insert tab. Mouse over to Pi and click the drop down. So insert recommended charts to Pi. And then we click 3D Pi. We have a pie chart that's keyed to each individual. And then you can drag that chart down underneath. And these are all editable fields. So if I click in chart title, and I'm just going to say total sales, try it again, total sales January, boy I'm having a hard time, through March 2016. I can resize the chart by moving around the dragger handles. So you should have a 3D pie chart. With a title, you can even change the way the labels appear. For example, if I click Style 2, it puts the names over each of the slices that they command. And if you look at this pie, who appears to have made the most sales for that quarter? Jose Garcia. We could click a different representation, and it can break it down by percentile. But if you go by the percentile chart, you would need to expand the size of the chart so that the labels will not overlap each other. And you're going to save. One item I forgot to include in here was how much product we had coming back. So if I were to click on cell A14 and I type in total quarter returns. So I'm in A14, I type in total quarter returns. So if I click now in B14, and I want to build a formula that's going to total the totals, it's going to total the row, or I'm sorry, the column F. I want you to do that on your own. So build that formula. How would you make the formula that will create in cell B14 the total returns that occurred in January, February, and March? Did you get the formula to happen? And what dollar amount did you come up with?
14,728.
That's correct. 14,728. Because the formula that you did was the sum of F5 through F12. Now we're going to try something here. You all have your chart down below, correct? You're going to select the chart so that it's highlighted. And you're going to click Edit, Cut, or the keystroke Command X. So you've removed the chart. And you are going to look at the very bottom of the sheet where it says Sheet 1 and then plus. You're going to click the plus sign. And you'll have Sheet 2 now. So now when I click Edit, Paste, or Command V, the chart now appears on Sheet 2. Were you able to get that to happen? And you're going to save. Where it reads Sheet 1. If you right-click on the title, Sheet 1, and then you scroll up to Rename. And you'll note that it becomes highlighted in blue. And you're going to type in Western Regional Sales. How do you think I could change the title for sheet 2? Right click, rename, and I'm going to call this total regional sales. However, it's a chart. So that lets the person know that the chart is on that page. So now if you click on Western Regional Sales, you get the numbers. When you click on Total Regional Sales Chart, you get the chart. And then you'll save. What you're going to do now is go to Blackboard. So let's see, this is Tech 101, Section 2. You'll go to Week 10 module. You'll go to Completed Assignment Submission Links. And then you'll click on Week 10 In-Class Assignment. You'll go to Browse My Computer. You'll find the workbook that you did saved to the desktop and click Open. You can add a comment in the Add Comments. Whatever, once you've got it ready to attach, you click Submit. And you're done.